Think about the way you learn best. Is it the same as the people that sit on either side of you in class? How does the teacher meet all of your needs? This presentation centers around the crisis and essential need for teachers to learn to differentiate in the classroom. The specifics of the crisis will be mentioned and solutions will be suggested. Many educators are teaching lessons that only fit a certain group of students in their classroom. Differentiating, or adapting lessons to fit different needs, is a struggle for many teachers and is sometimes avoided. Because of this issue, many students are left behind because the material is too difficult or students may be bored when the material is already known. This crisis leads to negative behavior and a negative view of learning. We want students to be learning at their appropriate level to get the most out of their education. Let's first define the problem. What is differentiation? To have differentiated instruction means adapting instructional strategies to meet the needs of the students. Every student learns differently, so why are many teachers teaching them all the same? Take a second to think about how you learn. Would you want to learn about the solar system by only reading a textbook if you learn best by doing hands-on activities? Would you want to only listen to an audio tape about World War II if you learn best by seeing things written down? According to Howard Gardner, people learn in 8 main ways. There are 8 intelligences he describes in his theory that describes the way people learn best. They include verbal, or the word lovers, visual, musical, interpersonal, intrapersonal, logical, kinesthetic, and naturalistic. Teachers should find the way each student in their classroom learns best. Students oftentimes fit multiple categories. It is important to note that students also learn in different stages and at different rates. This is why we must learn to differentiate. Always consider your students who receive support for special education, ESL, and gifted and talented. The specialists in these areas can be a resource and help to best meet the needs of these students. Many resources are available to differentiate instruction for these types of learners. Many teachers seem to teach to their own learning style. Recognizing that your students may have other styles is important. Teachers should take the time to find out what styles are represented. You also should not only cater to the majority in your classroom. By doing this, you are leaving students behind. Differentiating is not as simple as changing the amount of material. If students are struggling, they will not benefit from having less material that they still do not understand. Students who are advanced will also not need more of what they already know. By giving students more to do, it becomes busy work. There are many solutions to the important necessity to differentiating instruction. According to Cornett, differentiation is about responding to students' differences in a manner that honors, not suppresses differences. It is the process of not seeing two people as if they are one person. Teachers must consider varying delivery, materials, use, and activities in the classroom. One differentiation strategy suggested by Cornett is the particular method. Teachers can differentiate the place, or the learning setting, the amount, which is the time and materials, the rate, or the frequency, targets, which are the lesson objectives, instruction, the teaching strategies, curriculum, utensils, the level of difficulty, or the complexity of the lesson, assistance, which teachers can scaffold, and the response, the way that students show their learning. Particular groups of students may need specific accommodations for lessons. Some ideas to differentiate for students with physical disabilities include using verbal activities for students with limited movement, matching students with a buddy who can assist them throughout the day, allowing students with visual impairments to use touch in the lessons and placing them closer to the front of the room so they can see, using many visuals when teaching, and using the classroom space wisely. The classroom should have wide walkways or space for children in wheelchairs or with supports to move around the room easily. For students with emotional disabilities, teachers should be sure to have a consistent and supportive environment. Routines should be established and rules should be in place. They should also be given extra feedback to help them process each task and know what they must do specifically. Teachers should start each lesson with a warm-up to give students time to get into the material and become familiar with it. There should be flexibility with the length of each lesson. If students seem to be getting off task, teachers should come back to the material at a later time. Movement can also be incorporated. Adding hands-on activities will keep students interested in the lesson and keep them focused. In order to differentiate for English language learners, teachers should first be sure to respect the student's native language. These languages should be preserved and not discouraged. There should also be a large number of opportunities for students to hear language. This may come in the form of casual conversation, read-alouds, and discussion. An important thing for teachers to do to best meet their ELL needs is to find out about their students' backgrounds. They should also provide modeling and guided practice for each lesson, giving students opportunity to see each task being completed and then practicing it with the teacher and other classmates. Teachers should also review vocabulary continuously, use plenty of visuals, charts, and labels, provide feedback, and include multicultural text in the classroom library. Classroom libraries should be evaluated and include a variety of literature. Some ideas for students with academic gifts are to allow them to expand their capabilities by exploring their interests and allowing them to find out more about the areas. Teachers should locate specialists and experts in the area to assist in meeting these students' needs best, such as the child's gifted and talented teacher. By encouraging group work, students who are gifted and talented can learn to work with other students and take on a leadership role. They also can help students who may need extra assistance. In general, there is a multitude of ideas to adapt lessons to meet the needs of students in each classroom. More general solutions to the crisis of differentiation includes recognizing the diversity that exists in the room. Teachers need to be aware of the makeup of their class in order to plan instruction. There should also be high levels of active engagement. Cooperative learning, inquiry-based projects, and hands-on activities are all ways for students to see topics from an authentic angle. Teachers should also acknowledge what students know and can do. It is unnecessary to teach a topic that is already known. There should also be a diagnosis of each student's needs done at the beginning of the year and checked throughout the year as well. Lessons should be designed with differentiation components so that all students in the class can have a similar task but is developmentally appropriate for each student. Flexible grouping should be used as well as fair and equitable evaluations. Teachers should know about each student's learning strengths and capitalize on them throughout instructional planning. Teachers should recognize that success for each student may be different. Some students enjoy the attention of being acknowledged for their success, and others come from cultures where attention is not the same. Teachers should also realize that the key to motivation is interest, which is why student interest is so important. Teachers should support self-responsibility, value effort, celebrate student success, and recognize the hard work of every child. By far, the most important step to differentiation is to foster a supportive environment where all students can grow and learn. This step, among the other solutions and tips listed, will help solve the crisis of the difficulty to differentiate.